Welcome back. First, we are going to be joining the front just like this. You bring the two sides together and join. Next, we're going to bring the other side and join as well. So whatever we have joined, we are going to do the same to the back. So now for the back, it's going to be one side and half. That's the middle piece that was cut into two. It's going to be half of it. So one side plus half will be joined separately, and then the other side will be joined as well. Next, we move to the half bodice. So just place all the fabric accordingly so as to know what to join first. Remember to notch after joining, especially the under bust area. So we're going to join the other side and do the same. That has been done. Now we move to joining the back. Place your lace fabric and your support fabric underneath. Then you place the lining. Remember we cut two linings each for each side. So we're going to place the first lining, which will serve as the support fabric. I already have my stay ironed to that. Then that will be placed under your lace fabric. You then place the lining on the top. The neck area first, then the sides, then the love part, the love shape. We have a love shape on the back piece, so you're going to join that as well. We need to notch and top stitch on the lining. You might not necessarily have to top stitch all the way to the angle. It's going to be very tiny and you might not get your way. So just make sure you top stitch to wherever you have the access to get to. Next is to close the zipper side first, then the side. Now whatever we have done on the first part side of the back fabric, we're going to do the same on the other side. Having done that, we move to the base of the front. Here is the front part, the three pieces for the front that we joined. All you need to do is fold your fabric into two, place to cut your lining. So I have the lining for the front. Place your fabric, cut the lining for the front, and also place your lining to cut for the back. Now on the front fabric, we are going to place our velvet material. So let me turn it so we can see properly. What I'll be doing here is on the left side, more like from the middle, I measure 4 inches for the dart. So on the left side, I am going to pleat like this, just pleat. And first I will hold it down with my pin before I run a straight sewing on it, so it's going to be attached to the fabric. Then on the two sides, that's the left side and the right hand side, I am going to trim out the shape that I have on my basic skirt. So that's it's just like this. Just trace out the shape on both sides. After that has been done, we're going to place the lining, and then we'll join to just to hide the edges on the sides. For the back, I am just going to place my fabric and place my lining on it and join the sides as well. The next thing to do is to close the side, join the half length. But before then, we need to bring out the dart on the back. So you have to make sure the your dart aligns with the joining on the base of your dress. You have to bring the half length for the back and the front. You bring it together to be sure the dart aligns with that of the basic skirt. Then you can join. So we're going to repeat the same on the other side. The next thing to do is cut a strip of fabric, then place it on the joint part of the back, and then just to cover up the edges of what we have just joined. I am working with a sequence fabric and trying to weave it might really not work out because of the sequence. So this is another trick, another means of hiding the sewing. You can see the results. So I do this on all of my fabrics. Having done that on the two sides, the next is to fix our zipper. But first, you have to make sure these points align. The top, the joining, that's your joining on the half length, must align. Then you measure your zipper space of 17 or 18, and if you're working with a longer zipper, it should be around 22 or thereabout, 23 or so. You can just measure your zipper to know how many inches you're going to leave. What I'm trying to do now is just to make sure that the joining aligns. So here is just a stitch to hold it down. This is where my zipper is going to start from, so I'll just close it up to the base of my dress. After which, we are going to fix our zipper. Next, we move to the yoke parts of the front. So we're going to turn the neck. Remember, we have two We cut out two different parts of the veil net. So we're using that to turn. Just join the neck, top stitch on one of it, and trim out the excess that you have on the neckline before you continue. You have to be very careful when trimming it out so you do not mistakenly cut out your main fabric. Now the base, I am running a straight sewing in order to hold it down. Next is to place on the padded area. We're going to start joining from the middle, from the center. You can place your lining as you sew. First, you have your main padded, and then you have the yoke placed on it like this, and you have your lining placed on it as well. You can run the sewing at once, and you can just first join your net, the veil net or your yoke fabric, before using your lining to turn. Just go with whichever one that is convenient for you. It's fine. Just like I rightly said, you can first attach the yoke parts before placing the lining to turn, and you can place the two at once to join. Remember to notch and top stitch on the lining after joining. Now we are going to top stitch on the lining like I said, in order to secure the neckline. It's top stitching on your lining prevents the inner fabric from showing at the edges of your sewing, or the edges of your at the neckline area. So it's always good when you top stitch to secure the lining on the inner part of your dress. After that has been done, we are going to sew on both sides to turn it inside out. Now we move to the base of our dress. I told us that I'll use my pin to hold it. Then we are going to join. So, but before we join, I'll just run the sewing Now it's going to be sewn on both the lace, the velvet, the lace, and the lining, the same way I have pleated it and held it down with my pin. I've secured with my pin. So I'm just going to run the straight sewing now before I join the half length, the half bodice. So join the half bodice to the skirt, and like what we did for the back, we're going to cut out a strip of fabric so that we can hide the edges of our sewing. The next thing to do is to join the shoulder and bring out the shape on the sides. To bring out the shape, what we do is measure what you have. Like for instance, the bust measurement divided by 2. If the bust is 40, for instance, divided by 2 is 20. You measure all what you have on the fabric. If what you have is 22 inches, that means you have 2 inches excess. So you can just measure 1 inch on the right hand side and 1 inch on the left hand side to join. So the same rule applies to the underbust, the waist, and the hip. So now is joining the shoulder. Just place the front and back, then use the front lining to turn in order to hide the edges of your sewing. So now you understand what I'm trying to explain. You can see the front part and the inside. So do the same to the other side. So that's the end of our tutorial. Do not forget, you can ask questions in the comment section. I'll be there to answer you. If this is your first time, hit the subscribe and turn on your notification bell. Till I see you next class. Bye.